AI is coming after everything. Elon Musk recently went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and when asked if he was working on a phone, he said his focus instead was AI replacing apps on your phone, and it went like this.
AI on the server side communicating to an AI on your device, formerly known as a phone, and generating real time video of anything that you could possibly want. And I think that there won't be operating systems, there won't be apps in the future. There won't be operating systems or apps. It'll just be you've got a device that is there for the screen and audio.
So, what does it mean by this? Well, let's start with giving Elon the benefit of the doubt here and tie this into development in the AI space that's already started. A phone with no apps is sort of the promise that AI is supposed to deliver. See, through some type of personalized agentic AI, you could see how your phone would be able to replace your bank app and you'd be able to ask Siri or your personalized AI to pay your credit card statement or something like that. And it would know your login info and it'd be able to log into the website, pay your credit card bill. It could even probably tell you how much you have in your account. And you could see that there might no longer be a need for a specific bank app on your phone. And this could extend to things like ordering on Amazon, hailing an Uber, or even getting a summarized feed of your social media. You can definitely see some positives here. So instead of having hundreds of apps on your phone for each individual service or company, you have instead a quick conversation with Siri, and you don't have to remember all your logins, all your information. Siri handles a lot of that stuff for you. But that is not what Elon said. What Elon said was, and I'll quote, an AI on your device generating real time video of anything that you could possibly want, which tells me that's what they're truly going after. They want to be able to sell you an AI platform in which now becomes the space where you spend your time. We have already seen this with how social media competes for your time, but AI would do this one step further with even more specified and catered content just for you. See, some of the biggest revenue spaces right now are in social media and streaming. And these new AI companies are going to be going after that. And if they can create content right there on your phone, they can cut out the middleman content creators and even large companies like Netflix if they get to the point where they can create entire TV shows on your phone that are catered to the individual. While this might sound far fetched, I really believe that these companies are going after these giant revenue streams we see. And I think Elon let it slip there a little bit that they're going after creating real time content on your phone. Now, I think AI's ability extends beyond just content. I think they go after services as well. Things like Uber and Instacart have giant revenue streams, and their companies are basically just communicating between users and gig workers. And I think down the road, an AI on two different people's phones can probably do that. Put out a price to drive you to the airport or to pick up your groceries, and the AIs just communicate and find a match. And they share an address to our shopping list, and they cut out the middleman of needing the Uber or Instacart app. A lot of people are worried about AI taking over people's jobs, and rightly so. But I think these AI companies are truly going after everything, and that includes entire markets. I think some companies are already aware of this, as we just saw Disney cashing in before it's too late and investing $1 billion dollars into OpenAI and allowing the system to use some of its IP. When I think more about this, it reminds me when we see political revolutions and we see actual real change, they are typically only successful once the rich get on board and are backing the revolution. And AI coming after industries may just be the push that's needed in this area. This is a good time to jump in. If you're liking this content, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. It'd really help out the channel. So, what are some other stories from this week? Let's see. Trump signed an executive order creating a national AI policy framework, and it explicitly moves to knock down the state level AI legislation that's been going on in places like California, Colorado, and I think there were 34 total states who put something forward this year. Where does this leave us? It's one of these weird things where, of course, states' rights when it's convenient. My guess is that this leads to more lawsuits coming in 2026. We'll see how things play out as states and federal government fight over who gets to regulate here. In other news, Indiana's GOP dominated Senate voted down a congressional map that would have left the state with basically all Republicans in the House. I think it was all 9 seats they were going after. Obviously, this was really backed by President Trump. GOP lawmakers in Indiana decided not to do this. It's a rare public example of GOP lawmakers pushing back against the president's agenda. I think this will filter out of the news cycle pretty quickly. But if they lose on the Republican side by a few seats in 2026, you'll see this come right back up to the top of the news cycle. And the last thing I want to hit on, Netflix announced a deal to acquire Warner Brothers. And then almost immediately, Paramount jumped in to launch a hostile bid takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. There's reports that Jared Kushner is helping finance the Paramount side, and all of this is now in a really strange position where Trump has come out and said he basically will get to choose who wins here. There's definitely going to be an interesting watch. I don't think at the end of the day, either of these are really too good for consumers. I think, especially if Netflix wins on this, they've really already been taking a quality over quantity approach with their most recent content. I think that they'll probably try and squeeze as much as possible out of Warner Brothers, and I doubt they would really put in the time and effort in order to make high quality content with their IP and media that they have today. We'll see. For sure, though, I think if Netflix takes over, we're definitely looking at a further and further death of the theater. We do have a listener question today. So, do 3 people really own as much wealth as the bottom 50% combined? Doing some research on this, I'd say that the statement that 3 people own more wealth than the bottom 50% is partially true. There's a lot of time frames and ways to look at this data and what you're considering wealth and how you're measuring it. But you can definitely cherry pick information in which you can say that this is true. And I think the real problem, whether it's true or not, is that it's pretty close to true. And if you zoom out a little, I found an article from inequality.org. Billionaire wealth concentration is even worse than you imagine. If you scroll down here, they have a table and shows the top 0.1% has concentrated about 50% more of the share of wealth over the last 35 years, while the bottom 50% has lost about 50% of the share of wealth in the same time frame. We already live in an economy where the middle classes are getting squeezed, but I fear we're on the path where eventually approaching a point in which the lower classes and some of the lower middle classes are going to have such a small portion of the economy that they're going to be squeezed out entirely. And that's what I got for you today, December 12th, 2025, or known as the 67th anniversary of when rock climbers led by Warren Harding completed the first ascent of El Capitan in Yosemite.